Hey everybody, welcome back to Beyond Rote, where I show you how to get music under your fingers quickly and memorized using your intellectual faculties. We're continuing on with our Bach Allemande. In the last video we did the first two bars. We're going to work on the next two bars. And if you remember, we ended with this cadence of this one. So I'm just going to keep reading on and see what else we can do. Okay, I think that's probably good enough there. So let's see if I can do that again and see how I do. I always like to read twice. First time is sort of whatever, and the second one is have a little more of a sense of what's going on. So actually, it's that. Okay, so first thing I notice is this kind of sequence that's happening from here. 2, 3, 1, and 2, 3, and 3, 1, and 2, 3, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 3, and 4, and 1. So we go from here, and then we kind of go back to our C minor chord, which was our opening tonic chord. Remember, we started the piece. Back to that. So we kind of really start there, and then we end on the same chord that we started with. So we know our beginning and end, and then the end is, and that's the end. So we have this movement in between the same chord in this sequential way, this pattern I mentioned. First we have that, and then we have this, and then we go up again, 2, and 3, and 4. You can probably memorize that already in your mind. 1 and 2, 2 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And one thing I should notice that's all in the key of that you're in, C minor. There's no non-chord tones, except this B natural, but that is something that we all know when you're playing a scale. Even though the key signature says B flat, you'll always play the B natural. It's a non-chord tone that you would expect often, so it's easy to sort of acknowledge that. Another kind of interesting thing, I just noticed this, is when we go there, we do what's called a voice exchange. So we start here, and then we go here. So at the beginning, C was in the right hand, E flat was in the left hand, and then at the end, the pitches have changed, with E flat being in the right hand and the left hand playing the C. So now, there's another line that I notice in the right hand that you want to probably need to think about separately. So it's this note, rising notes. It's just that notes in the scale, and it fits in to that pattern here. You can play with your left hand. So that's, we can just call that ascending. It's really just an ascending C minor scale in the right hand. So if we were to play that all together from 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you got the gist. You can even think of these sevenths going up, think about it like that. Note that minor third, that's what you hear in the harmonic minor scale. So that's the right hand. What about the left hand? Let's see. What's going on here? That's kind of interesting. The ending is easy, of course, again, because this is all really in the key of G. I mean, not the key, chord G. That's a minor ninth. So we kind of resolve. And these chords here, I think we can start by tracing a pattern in the left and right with this line that we talked about earlier. If we add that to the left hand, what comes next? So you can think about it like that. So even then, we probably have most of it on. Just with that, we probably have most of it. That's also in the key of C minor with the same B natural chord tone. So if we were to play that, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and remember that note, we switch, do the voice exchange up to that. And now, I think this is probably the way to add it in to these parallel sixths. Once again, remember earlier we had them here in this piece, this first part, this passage. It continues. No, it's not even, is it? Probably want to trace those 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so that is the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that's kind of tricky. How do we know that? 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3. 2. You have to start by thinking about your right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 4 and 4. You have to think about, you should really anchor yourself probably in the right hand, and then the left hand will fall between it. You can practice it a little bit. 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And a little bit of repetition there probably helps. So if we start from the beginning, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So we've got a little bit of the structure here. Did that work? I think it's still recording. So all we have left are these parts when we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. So what are those parts? Let's see. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we go in for 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3, and for 1 and 2 and 3, and for 1 and 2, 3, 4. Go back to the beginning. And 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2. Well, they're sequential. So perfect fifths, perfect fourths, perfect fourths, all the way up. That's not a perfect fourth, but that's in the chord tone there. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, and 4, 1 and 2, 3, and 4, 1 and 2, and oh yeah, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and so that's a little bit tricky in the hand, so you have to practice that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. 1. What is this? These are sixes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 1 and 2, 3. So let's see what we can do with that. That part also will probably just take a little bit of practice. So let's see how those are related. 1, 2, 1. We are doing voice exchanges. These are all voice exchanges, which are pretty helpful. 3, then 1 and 2 and 3. So here we're switching C to E, D to F, F and D to D and F, and then E, F, and then F, A flat. And then these are, of course, our lower chromatic neighbors again. So that's that part. So let's see if we can put all those pieces together in a way that makes a lot of sense. Remember, we start from, and then we go to, and then we have our, first have our voice exchange, parallel 6, and then our parallel 6 is here, voice exchange, ascending chords, voice exchange, and then our parallel 6 is the ascending, then one more, another voice exchange, which is F and A flat, and then our ascending parallel 6 again, and then we have our, okay, so there's a lot of different things that are going on in that collection of pieces. So let's see if we can walk through it one more time. Remember, we're going to start a little bit before, just so we can get into it. Okay, here we are, 3 and then a voice exchange to the parallel 6, and then another sequence, parallel 6 voice exchange. Okay, so voice exchange. One more. Going from there to there. Okay. So those are all the different parts. Let's do it one more time. For the fifth, we have first we have these in the left hand, and then we have our voice exchanges. Next one, another voice exchange, then our voice exchange, then one more. Okay, so let's see if we can put all that together. So the hard part is getting those sixes and also some fingering. I see some fourth finger markings. We should make sure to put that fourth finger on that. There it is.